Hi there and welcome to Films According to Chris Wyatt. Today's movie is The Conjuring 2. The original Conjuring movie, released in 2014, was a really good film. A creepy, at times very shocking, well-acted and directed haunted house movie brought to us by filmmaker James Wan. He, of course, was the director of films like Saw, Dead Silence, and the first two Insidious movies. In fact, I actually consider the Conjuring and Insidious movies something like, how do I put this? Sister series, let's call them. Both are supernatural horror flicks with similar styles and techniques, though if I were to describe the difference between the two, it's that Insidious plays out more like a scary but playful theme park haunted house ride, while The Conjuring is the let's get serious movie a la horror films like The Exorcist. Granted, that's partially because the Conjuring movies are inspired by the supposed experiences of real-life paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Quick little disclaimer. I know a lot of people have been turned off by these movies because the Warrens' claims have been met with, well, let's say, very heavy skepticism. Can't say whether or not any of their stories are true since I wasn't there, but since the movie isn't a documentary and is clearly fictionalized to a large degree, even if the Warrens were indeed full of crap, it doesn't bother me too much for the sake of these movies. This movie is based off the infamous Enfield poltergeist haunting in 1977, where the Hodgson family of London, England, which consisted of a single mother raising her 4 children, are being tormented by a series of malevolent spirits that escalate over time. The Warrens arrive on the scene to investigate the supposed hauntings, which seem to be mostly centered around the young Janet Hodgson for reasons they can't explain. But if you're wondering whether the movie is good or not, it's a James Wan horror movie, of course it's good. Even though the guy has started to dip his toes in the waters of blockbuster filmmaking, it's nice to see him come back to the genre that put him on the map in the first place, because frankly, this guy is damn good at making horror movies. I've had a hard time deciding whether I like this or the first film more, because honestly, in some ways, The Conjuring 2 is both a little better and a little worse than its predecessor. On one hand, like any sequel, the concept and Wan's techniques can't help but come off as a tad been there, done that. Now, don't get me wrong, the movie is still as creepy and thrilling as one could hope, but there were a few points where I couldn't help but anticipate exactly what was going to happen. But only a few. But of course, on the upside, the things in the movie that do work, well, they work so well that you completely forget the things that don't quite hit bullseyes. The thrills are thrilling, the cast is awesome, and the movie had a few scares so memorable that there were a few times the audience screamed so loud that I'm surprised I didn't suffer any hearing loss. You get the usual haunted house fare, including unsettling noise-making toys, loud thuds in the middle of the night, furniture moving on its own, and the list goes on.
Taking turns scaring the wits out of each other? No wonder I can't get a good night's sleep. No, I don't want to hear another word. Now get back to bed, the lot of you!
There's also a scary-ass nun. I don't know, no offense to anyone that chooses that said profession, and maybe it's just a personal thing, but yeah, in some cases, nuns can just come off as kind of unsettling. I don't know, maybe it's just me. The cast is solid here too. The returning actors Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are as awesome here as they were in the first, but special credit also has to be given to the young Madison Wolfe, whose version of the creepy little girl character is one of the best in recent memory.
Janet's asleep, and I'm talking.
What is your name?
This is my home. Get out now.
In short, The Conjuring 2 just plain works. Like its predecessor, it's not trying to reinvent the horror genre, but rather just tell a very well-made version of a familiar story. I give The Conjuring 2 4 stars out of 5. Quick little side note, I was almost done with this review when somebody asked me what I thought of the Annabelle spin-off. Honestly, I completely forgot that movie even existed. Let me make this clear, when I said I liked the Conjuring movies, I meant The Conjuring 1 and 2. Annabelle, though, that movie just sucked, plain and simple. It wasn't even bad enough to leave any kind of impression, I just found it boring. And yes, I have heard that that creepy nun is getting a spin-off too. Honestly, could care less. The Nun has more potential for a standalone film than Annabelle, but I doubt anyone's going to do what's necessary to make that premise work. Could be wrong, hope I'm wrong, but don't count on it. Alright, thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you thought of The Conjuring 2 by leaving me a comment below. And if you like what you saw and you want to see more, click subscribe and tune in soon for a new video. I've also got links to some of my previous videos here, and links to my social media pages in the description box below. I'll see you next time.